has recurring headaches, rather than saying take a Panadol, take Panadine Forte, we get to spend an hour with them and assess, is it because of lack of water? Is it because of nutrient deficiencies? Is it because whatever? So we go through many, many, many questions about every system in the body to try and then treat the underlying cause. Then we let the body heal itself, which sometimes needs to be assisted through nutrients or herbs.
Oh, wow. I love how you say that you assist the body to heal itself.
Yes.
This is so important, because when you think about a lot of people feel that when they take Western medication, which is good for them, but it also doesn't always address the underlying issue.
No. Yeah. Like today we're talking about gout.
Yes.
You and I were before we got on, and we were saying, yes, you can get cold gout or the medication from the GP, whatever they prescribe, and it's amazing. It's a quick fix, get rid of pain. But then I suggested to you, you could try cherry juice for your client. So 1.5 tablespoons of concentrated cherry juice a day prevents the uric acid and the crystals even forming into the joints. So it's treating the underlying cause.
Right. See, that's really important, because that information may not always be conveyed by your primary health carer, like your GP and things like that, because they can sometimes be limited in time, but also because they know specifically what to get you out of that moment right then, like the quick pain relief. But knowing that you can do something for yourself every day to make sure it doesn't come back is really important.
Yes, definitely. Wow. Especially when gout's so painful, I think you'd do anything to change that so you don't get those extreme attacks.
That's right. So gout is this condition that is a build-up, but primarily it happens to men, and it's a build-up generally through the big toe, or sometimes people get it on the second or third or fourth toe, and it seems to have an effect on men when, as they get a bit older, this condition can happen. And from what I've been told by patients and clients, definitely, it's very painful. They want that immediate relief.
Yeah, definitely. It's horrible.
So what is it that you love to treat? And what kind of patients do you see come into the clinic or come and see you for telehealth at the moment?
For probably now, because my children are now 2.5 and 4.5. So since becoming a mother, I am seeing more of people within my age group that have young children. I do like to help people a lot with hormone issues and balancing hormones. I feel they're just turning off hormones and a lack of understanding of how much we can do to balance our hormones.
That's really interesting, because hormones is something that is still a bit of a mystery to me. And I think it's a mystery to a lot of people. And it's not until there are certain life stages when people start to become aware of how they may be affected by them. For example, coming to my head now is when people may go see a doctor and find out there may be a thyroid condition, or it may be a time when someone wants to conceive and fall pregnant and they're having a little bit of issues with it. And then of course for women, that life stage of when you start to experience some of the menopausal symptoms.
Yes. Yeah. And a lot of women are scared to take HRT, and there needs to be other options for them, which there's lots we can offer. Yeah. Fantastic. So like HRT is just you're taking a synthetic hormone, whereas as naturopaths, we try and balance what your body's already making.
Wow, that's fantastic that there is another option for women who may not want to take HRT or cannot because of their medical history in their family.
Definitely.
Or it does not agree with them as well. Like they take it and they find that it just creates some other side effect, or they're taking it for perhaps into decades as well. I've had some women who do take HRT right through into the older age.
Definitely. Yeah.
And at some point they want to sort of no longer take the HRT, but they don't enjoy the side effects when they come off it.
Coming off it, it's like a catch-22. Yeah,
that's a great reason to come and see you for women's health in relation to hormone. And there was actually another question I was thinking related to hormone that came up for me. One that people don't often think is related to is also weight gain for women.
Yes. Yeah, so that many hormones can play a role in weight gain. So most people are aware that if you eat McDonald's every day, you're going to gain weight.
Mm-hmm.
So the people that, so what we want to address is working out why you're gaining the weight. So if you're eating healthy and you're still having trouble losing weight, is it because the hormones need to be looked at or the thyroid needs to be looked at? So what we're looking for, we run blood tests. So we work with Southern and Nicoloids or QML pathology, and we can look for the optimal health range. So we can test your thyroid and see if your thyroid's in the optimal health range, whereas a medical GP is looking for the sick range. So they're going to look to see if you need to have an ultrasound or you need to have the thyroid out or something major, whereas we're just looking for, we need to clean up your thyroid so your metabolism works a bit better so you can lose the weight.
So in that sense, that's really helpful, because we don't always want to wait until we're at the point of sickness before we discover something. Because if we're at the point where we're at that point of illness, to sort of return back to health is a longer journey. That's what I've noticed within the patient. So if you are able to detect quite early on that something is not quite right, and having someone review those blood tests with you and be able to see the trajectory of how it may not be in balance, could save you your health in the long term.
Yes, yeah, definitely. So preventative. And we want to see the worried well. So we want to get you when you've got those little symptoms, so trouble losing weight or not moving your bowels every day or dry skin, rather than the extreme end. Yeah.
That's really helpful, because we do notice these small changes, and at times we don't know who to go to see when we notice that something is changing in our body.
Yes.
So in a way, it's a real good idea to go and see you for a preventive health check to make sure everything is going okay. How does that sound?
Yes, that's perfect. Yes. And I find women are very intuitive. So we know that niggly feeling of whatever that the doctors just dismiss, that's what you want to change, because that's affecting your life quality. So that's what we can help with.
So during your 1 hour consult, is it 1 hour your first initial consult is?
Yes, 1 hour. Yeah.
What will happen in that consult in that period of time?
So we go through, we listen to what's going on for you, and then we go through when it started, how long you've had it for, all those questions. And then we just quickly assess the rest of the systems in your body, because we want to look at the whole person. So even though you presented with a sore shoulder, we want to look at, is that sore shoulder possibly coming from the liver not working effectively or the gallbladder not working as it should be? So that's why we go through the digestive tract, how you feel when you eat, how you feel after certain foods. Yeah, lots and lots of questions about your bowels, because we believe everything starts in the gut.
That's fantastic, because in the last couple of years, and definitely in the last few years, there's been some amazing scientific modern research on the behavior of the gut health and how influential it is for the rest of the body in terms of chronic illness, autoimmune, and now we're even seeing a new burst of research being conducted for neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's. All of these has really come from this idea that the microorganisms that live, the microbiome in the gut, is very influential on even our mental behavior.
Definitely. Yep. There's a big gut-brain axis there, and that's what we want to strengthen. And that brings us back to how at the beginning we were talking about polyphenols and the vegetables. So unfortunately our diet is quite deficient in vegetables, but it's the vegetables that are the original superfood that's going to feed our gut microbiome. So an ideal diet is 40 different plant foods a week.
40
different plant foods. So what I did today was I did my grocery shopping this morning. So today we have tomatoes in our salad. So I bought coloured tomatoes. So this is reaching 4 different colours. So that's 4 different vegetables or fruits, tomatoes and fruits in my diet. So I've got red, orange, yellow and green. each color feeds a different species in my gut, and each species is going to strengthen my immune system and my gut-brain axis and everything else.
So sorry.
You go.
So the color of the same type of, like you're saying, tomatoes, even the different colors. Because I often find when I go to the supermarket, I just go, I'm going to get the red capsicum.
Yes. Yep. Because it tastes better. But
yes.
But usually, if you look at your grocery list, you're getting the red capsicum with the green broccoli or the green zucchini. So you're varying your colors there.
Wow, that's really something simple that everyone could actually implement on every week on their grocery list in a very simple way. And that is just approach the very first aisle, which is always your fruit and vegetable aisle, and scan without even really thinking about what type of vegetable it is, but to scan for colors and say, okay, I need to make sure I have a diversity, a rainbow of colors in my trolley before I move to the next aisle.
Yes, that's perfect. And we have a laminated chart that I give out to children to tick off. So they've got to achieve 2 colors per day. 2 red things, 2 yellow things, 2 purple things, and they tick them off on the chart.
So this is what you do with your little ones?
Yes, or with the clients,
And the clients as well. This is such a great, helpful activity, especially even for young children to sort of see that they're becoming more interested in the foods that they take and the reason why.
Yeah. And it's like with kids, if we can teach them the reason why they're eating this broccoli is to get stronger muscles. It's the same with adults. Once we have that education, we understand why we need to eat it.
I think the food education is really, really important. Like if I think back to my childhood, my mum was being Chinese background, and particularly from South China, food has always been a part of our life. I mean, our dinner will always serve like a banquet. There was always fish, there was always chicken, there was always beef, there was plenty of Chinese greens, and there was always a broth, like a soup, always on the plate. And, you know, my mum would look at our temperature, she would look at our behavior, and she's like, oh, you guys are going crazy, you've had too much sugar. And she would always use the broth and add Chinese herbs because that's how we eat traditional Chinese diet, and that would help balance us. So I think when I think now my knowledge when it comes to Chinese herbal medicine, it really comes from my mom teaching me from when I was very young. So I love this idea that when you're a parent or a carer of young children, you can actually introduce a lot of this so they understand why they eat it and they develop a relationship to this food rather than just going yuck by taste.
Yeah. And with kids, you can make it up. You can say you can eat this and it'll make you like Superman or something. But it's just that education and they know why they're eating it. So carrots help them see in the dark and all those things. Yeah. I think it's important.
Excellent. So food is medicine. And often with patients myself, we want to help them adjust their life. It is a big change for them when you start introducing some new habits for them.
Massive.
It is a massive, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think this is the part when most people feel a little bit hopeless or helpless because they have attempted to diet before. But I want to hear you talk about, like, it's not really about dieting. It's really about like a lifestyle change.
Like a lifestyle change. But for some people, it's the complete opposite to what they've ever eaten in their life. So I'm listening to a podcast at the moment where they interview BJ Fogg, who wrote Tiny Habits. And if we make tiny habits, we feel success, and then we make those more long-term acceptance. So we're going to bring that long-term. So I can say to a patient, eat 6 cups of vegetables a day because that's what you're supposed to eat, but they've never eaten a vegetable in their life. So normally how I start is include vegetables in 1 meal a day. So I love baby spinach, and I think it can be included into most meals. So if you're making spaghetti bolognese, you can put in a whole bag of baby spinach. So that's like 4 cups, and you don't even know that there's baby spinach in there. Or if you're doing a smoothie, you can add 2 or 3 leaves of baby spinach, and that just boosts up the vegetable content throughout the day.
That's really helpful. That's really good too, because baby spinach is so easy to get now. It's just in a bag. You just grab it off
Yes.
the market shelf, and then you just have it in your fridge and just use it.
Yep.
In
So
every.
that stops a lot of barriers, and same as frozen vegetables. So if they've been snap frozen, which vegetables are, they're pre-cut, and that drops a lot of barriers because you just cut open the bag and steam them, or cut open the bag and add them to whatever you're doing.
Wow, I love these tips already. This is really helpful. I like the idea of, you say, tiny habits really do make those changes to incorporate in your life. I feel that most people sort of come at, you know, in midlife, when they start to have some lifestyle diseases, I would say, when, you know, things like high blood pressure catches up, or maybe weight gain. And then they start to think, oh, how do I want to be when I get older? Or they start experiencing pain.
Yeah, that's very true. That's why we've got to work on it now. Yeah, to prevent all that.
And I like this idea of just do something small every day, like, and just slowly change your habits in that sense.
Yeah, because it's overwhelming to tell someone to eat 6 cups of vegetables. And I think adults can also hide the vegetables from themselves. So today at Coles, I picked up, reduced to clear, some ground up cauliflower, broccoli, corn and carrot. And I'm just going to put that in with our mince tonight. So we've got spaghetti bolognese, and this is all, I just chuck it in, and the kids and myself, I don't even know what's in there, but then I've got the meat plus the vegetables for dinner.
Fantastic. So you're taking like something that everyone loves, spag bowl, and then you can increase your vegetable content. And it's, that pack is quite easy, like you said. I often see that reduced as well. I think, wow.
I know. People don't buy it, obviously. Yeah.
When you see how expensive cauliflower is, you just buy the rice, the cauliflower.
Yeah.
So what is it that you love to cook for your family? What do you really love to make?
I like to cook anything, and I'm quite lucky. My kids eat most things, and they enjoy cooking too. I like to cook only like 2 nights a week or 2 days a week. So I'll do bulk cooking.
Wow.
So I'll cook like 2 kilos of mince at a time, or a couple of kilos of chicken and a roast at the same time. So then we're right for the next couple of days.
Wow, that's a great idea. Is that like a time-saving protocol where you just, how long does that take you? And does it mean that you then know that you've prepared all your meals? Okay.
Yeah. So I probably spend 2 to 3 hours once to twice a week, but then that gives me time in the afternoons to play with the kids rather than being in the kitchen. So that's why I do that.
I love that efficiency.
Yeah.
I love that you're still eating you're still eating home-cooked meals. They're nutrient dense, and then you also maximizing your time in terms of just cooking it all in one go, multitasking, and then also then you have time to be with your kids.
Yes.
Are you a super mom?
No.
No. Lots of new skills that we can learn from this, I feel. I think this is really interesting for me to learn from that. Now, I want to ask you too, beyond just having food, now you also have, you also prescribe some supplements as well. And I know that people these days really love supplements. They really love going either to the supermarket or My Chemist Warehouse. And what is the difference between going to those places or coming to see you to know what to take for a supplement?
Well, it doesn't surprise me anymore, but the amount of people that bring in a full shopping bag worth of supplements that they've bought from Chemist Warehouse is pretty amazing. And then they're not taking them because they, this one does this one does this one does this. But during a naturopath consult, we work out what's going to change their life the most. So it might be addressing their stress or their energy. So that's the only thing we want to treat with supplements, not the fluid retention, the stress and energy, the immune and everything else, because it's overwhelming and people won't take it. Then we've also got to look at the quality of some supplements. Unfortunately, a lot are just marketing. Yeah. So, and a lot of them are filled with fillers. And we don't, so yes, vitamin A is good for us, but when it's mixed with a filler, does it still work the way vitamin A does? So something like Centrum A to Z, you need 40 of those to equivalent to one of our multivitamins.
Wow, really? So
yeah, so that just shows you how much fillers is in that, because they're a decent tablet like our multivitamins.
So
Yeah.
quality
So
is really important, because not all vitamins are made the same.
no, and then they're in different forms, which is very confusing with minerals. But the forms that they're in are quite challenging to absorb. And then it's getting the correct dose as well. So a lot of people have been taking, I don't know, one vitamin D tablet their whole life, but they actually need 10 to have an effect. That's an example.
That's fantastic. That really is really important, even just to come and see you to sort out your vitamin supplement drawer.
Yes, which a lot of people do, just come in for a review, and even how you take them. So like a lot of people take calcium supplements, so like caltrate for the bones and stuff, but you can't take that with any other vitamin and mineral. And because of the form of calcium it is, you can't even really take it in the morning, because it inhibits your absorption of zinc and iron throughout the day. Yeah.
It's a game changer. I didn't even know, like, knowing when and how to mix, because I know this with herbal medicine, but not with even supplements.
Yeah. So calcium should always be taken at night before bed, because we also actually create bones when we're lying flat. So that's why it's better to take it at that time. But because of the size of calcium compared to zinc or iron, yeah, it inhibits the absorption of zinc and iron throughout your meals.
Did you hear that, everyone?
Yeah.
Taking calcium. I'm pretty sure nearly everyone's taking calcium and vitamin D.
Lots of people taking calcium. Yeah. So vitamin D is awesome for the immune system. And you can get a blood test from your GP to test, weighted by Medicare on who they do the test on. But some people can get a vitamin D blood test, and I like vitamin D to sit at about 120 going into the winter season, because vitamin D is one of the most potent immune modulators, so regulate the immune system.
Have you tested people, just out of curiosity, now that we're talking about vitamin D, because there's a lot of information that we should absorb vitamin D from the sun. That's our best source. That's what a lot of people say. So some people in these times, definitely down south where it is definitely getting a lot cooler now, that they will be spending some time to try and absorb vitamin D. From my complexion, it's more difficult because I'm a little bit my olive skin as well, so I find it really hard to absorb the vitamin D. And then people who then only take the supplementation, like, have you ever seen like a research on whether people that don't take a supplementation and only have vitamin D from the skin, is it sufficient in the southern hemisphere?
Yeah, well, we actually do DNA gene testing to see if you have trouble taking up vitamin D from the sun. So we can test to see if you have a gene mutation sitting on the VDR gene. And if you do, you may have an inability to take vitamin D up from sunlight, which is very interesting. What I did find out about vitamin D is you actually wash it off in the shower.
What?
So if you've been out gardening, for example, to get your vitamin D, you're sweaty, so you have a shower straight afterwards, and that washes the vitamin D off your skin.
So how long would it, was there any information like how long it would take?
I only just heard this, and I need to follow up with it because I didn't know that, but it was from quite a good source. But from and then to absorb vitamin D from the sun, you want to be out in the sun where your shadow stature is shorter than your body. So that's usually between like 11 and 1. So that's quite hot here. And it's usually, most people, it's till you go pink.
So that's very tricky in the Australian sun.
It is. And then you got to look at sun safety. So most people require supplementation.
Right.
Okay. So myself and the kids have supplementation every day of vitamin D. Well, now because of what's going on in the world, but mainly from May up until like September, October.
Oh, that's good to hear too, to also that if you're generally quite healthy, then you can take a supplementation just for a couple of months, or also because of the pandemic at the moment, to help with your immune system.
Yeah. Yep. It's brilliant for the immune system.
I think we need to have another chat later on about this, about the DNA and the gene. See, this is what happens in the clinic.
Oh yeah.
You know, when we are in the clinic together, Kiera and I will have a quick chat about something just to learn about different perspectives and on certain health issues. And it's always fascinating. I always learn so much. And it's almost like you guys are getting a privy of what happens in the back corner of our clinic when we're chatting in our breaks.
Okay, quickly run past each other.
I'll ask one more question too before we finish off, because it's now been half an hour, and I'll have to ask Kiera to join us again. I want to ask, what's your favorite thing to take right now for immunity? If there's something that you want to take.
At the moment, I like astragalus. So Fusion Health do a really nice range, and they do astragalus herbs for children, which is in a nice blackcurrant flavour, and then astragalus tablets and liquid for adults. And it just keeps your immune system ready to fight diseases, but it doesn't stimulate.
Yes, that's what I want to ask about, because people often say to me, I have autoimmune, I can't take astragalus, which is huangqi in Chinese. And I was just like, I haven't really come across that too much in Chinese medicine literature.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't do, like, a lot of people are taking echinacea at the moment, but I think that's a bit too stimulant. Echinacea is more for when you have cold and flu, or andrographis is another herb for when you've got that cold and flu kind of symptoms. But astragalus is just a really nice immune tonic that you can take to prevent colds and flus.
I agree. Astragalus is probably one of the more popular herbs in Chinese medicine. Huangqi, I use it quite a lot too in a lot of Chinese herbal formulas. It's in Chinese medicine literature. It tonifies qi, your wei qi, which is your defense mechanism. And it just moves the energy very gently. And like Kiera said, it's very protective for your defense mechanism. And then when you start on the first sign of getting sick, you don't take it. And the same with say that too. So as soon as you feel like you may be getting sick, see, this is the mistake most people make. I've spoken to a few people who said, my flu's going way too long. I said, well, what are you taking? And they've gone for an immune thing, like a moon boost, like that has astragalus in it. And you're like, can't take this. This is going to prolong your illness. This is not what this herb's used for.
Yes, perfect. Yeah, because that's where you change to like andrographis, olive leaf, echinacea. That's when you take those things when you've got the cold and flu.
And andrographis is quite an interesting one too, because also in Chinese herbal medicine, this is Chuanxinlian. Chuanxinlian is more modern. It's not in that many of the historical Chinese herbal formulas. It's more of a more modern research, and that one is it has very good I think pyretic from memory conditions, because we use it more for toxic heat in the lungs, like when you're really quite unwell.
Yeah, no, it's good. The king of bitters, it tastes terrible, but you can get it in a lot of tablets and capsules, which makes it a lot easier to take.
Fantastic. I love that. Yeah. So yes, definitely take the astragalus. Get a good quality astragalus.
Definitely. Yeah, that's true.
Okay,
thank you for the cup of tea.
Thank you. I haven't finished mine yet. I've still got too much talking. I really enjoyed hearing, and I think we should do this again, because there's obviously a lot more information that you can share with us. So if you are interested, don't forget you can book in to have a chat with Kiera on her Telehealth. Kiera will tell you how can
so you can have a look through our Facebook page or through the website kierahinshawnaturopath.com.au, and there's all the information about my consultations and prices.
Excellent. Thank you, Kiera. I miss seeing you in the clinic every week.
Yes, you too.
And I'll catch up with you again on Zoom. We'll do another one of these chats. And if you guys have any questions that you want to be answered, I can forward them on to Kiera. And if you have any suggestions of what it is that you want to know more about, that we can have a chat about, we would love to do another chat with you guys again. And so you can be educated. This is a time when we have a little bit more time, when we are actually slowing down in our life, that we can actually use this time to educate ourselves and learn more about what we can do for our well-being.
Yeah, sounds lovely.
Awesome. Take care, everyone. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.